चन्द्रार्काग्नि विलोचनं स्मितमुखं पद्मद्वयान्तं स्थितं मुद्रापाशमृगाक्ष सतरविलसत्पाणिं हिमांशुप्रभुम्. In this video, we will see the second part of Shatharudra Samhita. Bhairav gets liberated from his sin. Bhairav, who was created by Lord Shiva from his third eye, had severed one of the 5 heads of Lord Brahma on the instruction of Lord Shiva. Now Brahma was left with only 4 heads. Carrying the skull of Brahma in his hand, Bhairava started wandering in all the 3 worlds. Bhairav reached Vishnuloka where he was welcomed. Goddess Lakshmi dropped Vidya named Manorath by which all the wishes could be fulfilled in the begging bowl of Bhairav. Bhairav became extremely happy by this gift. Lord Shiva had created an ogress named Brahmahatya and had instructed Bhairav to reach Kashi before her. After being blessed by Goddess Lakshmi, Bhairav took the permission of Lord Vishnu and proceeded towards Kashi. When Bhairav reached Kashi, Brahmahatya too came near the outskirts of the city but could not enter it because of Lord Shiva's power. Instead, she entered into the Patal Loka. As soon as Bhairav had entered Kashi, the begging bowl fell on the ground and thus Bhairav got liberated from his sins. Bhairav was extremely relieved. The place where the skull of Brahma had fallen later on became as Kapala Mochan, the most sacred place of pilgrimage. Shiva takes incarnation as Sharabha. When Vishnu took his incarnation of Nrsimha to kill the demon king Hiranyakashipu, his anger could not be subdued even after the killing of Hiranyakashipu. His anger had frightened all the 3 worlds. Lord Brahma sent Prahalada to Nrsimha so that his anger gets cooled down. Prahalada prayed to Nrsimha. Nrsimha took him in his embrace, but still his anger was not subdued. All the deities went to Lord Shiva and requested him to cool down Vishnu's anger. Lord Shiva then sent Bhairav and Veerabhadra to Nrsimha. When Veerabhadra politely requested Nrsimha to cool down, he tried to pounce on him. Right then, Lord Shiva appeared in his most devastating form. His appearance was resembling a huge cannibal bird. Lord Shiva injured Nrsimha with his giant wings, and after carrying Lord Vishnu in his giant wings, he flew in the sky. Lord Vishnu was so frightened that he became unconscious. After regarding his consciousness, Lord Nrsimha appeared in his form of Lord Vishnu and eulogized Shiva. Lord Shiva wore the head of Nrsimha with the garland of skull in his neck. The remaining body was carried by Veerabhadra and abandoned at a mountain. Vishwanar receives boon from Shiva. Once upon a time, there used to live a Brahmin named Vishwanar who was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Shuchismati was his wife, who was a devout wife. Being pleased by her sense of dutifulness, Vishwanar tried to reward his wife. Shuchishmati expressed her desire of having a son just like Lord Shiva. Vishwanar went to Kashi to please Lord Shiva by his penance. He worshipped Vishweshwar Linga with supreme devotion. Lord Shiva became very pleased by his devotion and he appeared before Vishwanar from the Shivalinga. When Vishwanar expressed his desire, Lord Shiva agreed to take birth as his son. Shiva's incarnation as Grihapati. In due course of time, Shuchismati became pregnant and gave birth to a beautiful child. Lord Brahma named the child as Grihapati. When Grihapati attained the age of 5, his sacred thread ceremony was performed. Within a year, he became proficient in all the Vedas and other sacred texts. When Grihapati attained the age of 9, Narada came and informed Vishwanar that death of Grihapati was imminent because of the evil effects of the planetary combinations. Vishwanar and Shuchismati were saddened. Grihapati then consoled his parents and proceeded towards Kashi to do penance so that the death could be conquered. Grihapati commenced his penance at Kashi. The deity Indra arrived there and requested him to demand anything he wished, but Grihapati refused. Indra became furious and tried to attack him with his weapon Vajra. Grihapati was very terrified. Right then, Lord Shiva appeared and Indra had to retreat from the scene. Lord Shiva blessed Grahapati with a long life. Grahapati became very pleased. The Shivalinga which he worshipped later on became famous as Agnishwara Linga. Lord Shiva made Grahapati the lord of all the directions. Lord Shiva's incarnation as Iksheshwar. During the time when ocean was being churned, first of all poison appeared from it. The deities were very terrified to see the tremendous heat it generated. They went to Lord Shiva and requested to protect them from the heat of that poison. Lord Shiva drank all the poison but did not let it pass down his throat. After the poison, nectar appeared from the ocean, which was drunk by the deities. The demons too wanted to drink the nectar, so a tremendous battle ensued between them and the deities. The deities became victorious in this battle because they had become immortal due to the effect of the nectar. This victory made the deities very arrogant. Lord Shiva was very concerned about their arrogant nature. He went to them in the guise of a yaksha. Lord Shiva then asked them to cut the grass if they considered themselves so mighty. He then kept a grass leaf in front of them. Each of the deities tried to cut that grass with their respective weapons but remained unsuccessful in their attempts. They were all amazed. Suddenly, a heavenly voice was heard which said that the Yaksha was none other than Lord Shiva himself. The deities realized their mistakes. They apologized to Lord Shiva. 10 incarnations of Shiva and Shakti. Describing about the 10 incarnations and their corresponding power Shakti, Suta said, the first incarnation of Lord Shiva was as Mahakal and his Shakti was called Mahakali. Lord Shiva took his second incarnation as Tar and his Shakti was called Tara. The third incarnation of Lord Shiva was as Bhuvaneshwar and his Shakti was called Bhuvaneshwari. Lord Shiva took his fourth incarnation as Shodash, who was also known as Sri Vidyesh, and his Shakti was called Shodashi or Shri. Lord Shiva took his fifth incarnation as Bhairav, and his Shakti was called Bhairavi. The sixth incarnation of Lord Shiva is famous as Chinnamastak, and his Shakti by the name of Chinnamasta. Lord Shiva took his seventh incarnation as Dhumavan, and his Shakti was known as Dhumavati. The eighth incarnation was as Bagalamukh and his Shakti was Bagalamukhi. The ninth incarnation of Lord Shiva became famous as Matang and his Shakti as Matangi. Lord Shiva took his 10th incarnation as Kamal and his Shakti as Kamala. If these 10 incarnations of Shiva are worshipped along with his 10 Mahavidyas, then a man attains salvation. The origin of Levan Rudras. Once the deities went to sage Kashyapa after being tormented by the demons. They complained to him about the misdeeds of the demons, who also happened to be their stepbrothers. Sage Kashyapa became extremely furious when he heard about the misdeeds of his sons, the demons. To protect the deities from his sons, he commenced a penance to please Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva became very pleased by his penance and appeared before him. He asked Kashyapa to demand anything he wished. Kashyapa then requested Lord Shiva to take birth as his son and destroy the demons. Lord Shiva blessed him and said, "So be it." Lord Shiva later on took birth as Levan Rudras from the womb of his wife Surabhi. The name of these 11 Rudras were as follows: Kapali, Pingal, Bhim, Virupaksha, Vilohit, Shastra, Ajapad, Ahirbudnya, Shambhu, Chand, and Bhav. These 11 Rudras fought battles with the demons and killed them. The deities were relieved after the death of the demons. They worshipped these 11 Rudras to express their gratitude. In the next video, we will see the remaining part of Shatharudra Samhita. Om Namah Shivaya.